On this episode of the John1911 Podcast, Thunder Ranch has a new gun, the NRA falls apart, Freeze still loves Taurus, and Pitbull beats gun every time.
Okay, good morning everybody. This is Marky and Freeze, and this is episode 138 of the John1911 Podcast. How's it going, Freeze?
Pretty good.
You're working this week, right?
Yes, I am.
So you had a easy night or a rough night in the ghetto?
Oh man, it wasn't a bad night. I mean, considering, but Jesus, man, I don't know. So far this month, we're like little Chicago. I mean, how many shooting deaths have we had so far this month?
Last I heard, it was like six weeks or something.
Oh yeah, I mean, there was like 3 more last night. I don't know if they all were fatalities, but I mean, there were 3 shot last night.
Oh, it was, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think those 16 was fatalities.
Yeah.
There's more shootings. Most people,
it's crazy.
The gun forum doesn't want to hear this, but most people don't die from handgun shootings. Actually, you know what? That reminds me. There's a story on, let me go to this. This is a great segment. Let me find it. TMZ. I want to read you this. Holy shit, I forgot about this. Let me find this dude. And I'm going to filibuster while I'm still trying to fill airtime here. So there was a shooting in, I assume it was in LA. And what is this dude's name? He's in the music industry of some kind. And hold on, I got to go through all of this for TMZ. He was shot. No, wait. Here he goes. I've never heard of this guy. I don't know if he's podunk. Can you say podunk and rap in the same sentence? I don't know if he's a podunk rapper or whether he's like a big rapper. His name is Slim 400.
Never heard of him.
No, I've never heard of him either. But hey, I'm not going to hold that against him because I may not be his target audience.
I'm not his target audience either. So, I mean, he could be quite famous, and me not ever hearing of him is, I mean, no shock.
I'm trying not to insult the man. So he's alive. He's in the hospital. Slim 400 shooting. Rapper shares recovery photo, mocks his attackers. So how many times was he shot? He was shot 9 times. Now think about if you're listening to this conversation and you're also somebody who likes to creep around on gun forums, just think about this whole, the average conversation on a gun forum about self-defense shootings in relation to the reality of this man being shot 9 times. I mean, this guy's like, I hate to say it like this, but this guy, this is very tacky, and I don't want to get like whatever. But look, if you're in the music industry and you're talented, I'm assuming he's talented, and you get shot 9 times and live, you're the next 50 Cent, because that is like total street cred. But let me listen to this. Okay, now this guy, how he says that he posted this. So it may not make complete sense, his slang, but let me just read it. He wants to thank everybody for helping him in the hospital, and he has a message for the people that shot him. And it goes as follows. I want to thank the staff at the hospital for helping me shake back. And says he owes them grub from Roscoe's House of Chicken and Waffles or Taco Bell Catering for life. Then he says to the shooters, God, I thank whoever was popping for buying them shells at Walmart. I'm here for a reason. Hold up. So basically what he's saying is your cheap ass Walmart bullets couldn't kill me.
Well, look, I mean, here's the thing, and we've talked about this on previous podcasts before. Here in this city, there is someone shot every single day of the year, 365 days a year. There is literally more than 365 people shot and admitted into our level 1 trauma center. in a year.
Cincinnati's a major city.
Yes. Okay. Now here's the thing: 90% of the people shot and admitted don't actually die. But again, we've talked about this. All these gangbangers out there, they go to Walmart, they buy range ammo, and the truth is, about 75 to 80% of them aren't shooting people to actually kill them. It's a big deal to shoot people in the junk area.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
It was a few years ago. It was a big deal. What they were doing is they would shoot if they were fighting over street corners, they would shoot each other in the ass.
Yeah, and shit like that. You know, but I mean, the truth is, ball ammo is through and through ammo. And the truth is, unless you really hit some major vitals, you're going to survive that. Yeah,
I mean, handguns are just terrible people stoppers.
No, I mean, it's just the way it is. I mean, you know, now I'm not talking about the guy, you know, that's, you know, carrying, Gold Dot or Hydra Shocks or whatever, but these gangbangers aren't. They're buying Winchester White Box or Remington Green Box or just whatever they can pick up off the shelf.
They're getting whatever they can get anywhere they can get it. So, but you know, this guy, it was probably a targeted. They were trying to kill this dude, but
well, they shot him 9 times. I'm assuming they wanted him dead.
It's called motivation.
It's not like I'm going to shoot you in the ass and move on down the road. I mean, this is like we gave it a college effort.
Yeah.
Do
I have enough ass to get shot in it 9 times? So,
I mean, come on.
I thought that was a good.
This guy absorbed a lot of lead and lived.
Okay. Let's try to keep the talk over to a minimum because you know we've had some issues with the software. So let's, We'll see. I just thought that was interesting. That was a good way to slam the average gun forum shooting idea.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, this should be common sense, common knowledge to just about every gun guy out there. But the truth is, really, it's not. Because, okay, it's kind of like this, you get so wrapped up in something, you tend to forget the basics.
Yeah.
I mean, does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying?
It makes complete sense. People, if they get into something, they forget. They make everything impossible. It's because it's analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
Everything is super. You have to be an expert to do everything, or you can't do anything.
Exactly. And realistically, when you're talking about stuff like this, everyone knows that 4th of July weekend in Chicago, 1,800 people got shot. I'm exaggerating. I don't really know what the number was, but it's Chicago. You know how that goes. Every holiday, a shit ton of people get shot. But the thing is, everyone looks at that and goes, "Oh man, that's horrible." But they really don't look at the breakdown of it. And out of those 1,800 people that got shot, maybe only 10 of them died. Now I say maybe only 10 of them. That's horrible, but still. It's like those 10 died because they hit a vital, they hit an artery. I mean, because
they've been shot 3 times before.
Well, I'll tell you. Well, let me tell you a true story. And I won't go into names or details, but this is an actual true story, and this was years ago. Guy comes into a trauma center here in the city with a gunshot wound. And, and they're triaging him before he goes up to the OR because he's conscious and it's not a vital, it's not, life. All gunshots are life threatening, but you know what I mean? I mean, yeah. He's not like on the verge of death, but they do got to take him to the OR to work on him. They're triaging him. And the nurse that was in there doing the triage looked at him and said, you know, you probably should change your lifestyle. And the reason she told him that is because 2 months before that, he'd been in there for a gunshot wound, and he was still wearing the colostomy bag from his previous gunshot 2 months ago. And it's like 2 months later, he's in with another gunshot wound. And I mean, this guy's not even totally healed, and he's still wearing a freaking colostomy bag from the last time he got shot.
How old was he? He wasn't an OG. You're like rolling in there at 40. He was probably under 25.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He was in his late teens, early 20s. I don't recall off the top of my head but he was a young kid. You know, he was old timer. Yeah. You know,
and I want to make that point. I want to make that point so people listening to the story understand this, because they project or they'll confuse or conflate how some of this stuff works with things that they understand. So, like, you'll get a story of a guy who, you know, so-and-so was in a 75th Ranger Regiment, and he did so many deployments and this and that, and he's got 7 Bronze Stars, 3 Purple Hearts. The dude's got like a 20-year career in combat zones. You know, and you got some kid who's 19 on his 3rd trip to the ER for a gunshot wound because he's living the lifestyle.
Well, and you know, and this brings up something that we've talked about. We've talked about it on social media, and we've talked about it on podcasts in the past. Gangbangers in the ghetto aren't afraid of cops with guns. They're afraid of tasers because they don't like to ride the lightning. But half these gangbangers in the ghetto have been shot and survived.
Yeah, not half, but they know the rules of engagement.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, okay, maybe not half. I'm exaggerating, of course. My point is, a lot of these gangbangers have been shot before, and they come. And they're not.
A lot of people who live in like normal society and carry guns, if they have not been exposed to life in the ghetto or life in, it's not the ghetto because that's life in tough areas. And that could be whether you're in like Venezuela or whatever.
Yeah.
People think it's like they even pretend like they even will say they don't think it, but it's some in the back of their lizard brain. They feel like if they present a gun and they point a gun at somebody, that the bullshit will stop. And more often than not, it doesn't. Now you're stuck there with a gun sticking out. You want to hear a awesome story that was told? I do, and then I want to get on to a Disney story. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay. This is true story, happened 3 nights ago. It was told. Okay, the city has a cab service. Did you know that? I mean, there's the local cabs, there's Uber and Lyft, and then there's, your independent cab companies, but the city of Cincinnati has an actual cab service. Now, they subcontract it out to a cab company, but it's a city. It's called Your Cab, and I don't know if that's a DBA or whatever. It could be. From what it could be a sublet of a major cab company, as far as I know, but they're basically they all run old police cruisers.
Crown
Vics. They run Crown Vics, and they're black and white. They're all black. They got a white hood, white roof, and anyway, it's a city cab company, and they go through like a city of Cincinnati dispatcher, whatnot. So, I'm not going to say what area this was because none of our listeners will know this. If I told you where it was, you would know exactly where it is. You'd be like, oh, yeah, shit.
Yeah.
There was a guy I happen to know. He's just kind of a random friend. I know him because I work 3rd shift and he runs cab 3rd shift, and we've interacted for probably 3 or 4 years. I've run into him. He runs into me, whatnot,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He comes in the other night. He's just like, he's like, I've been driving a cab for 30 years. And he said, I saw something the other day that I've never, ever seen in my life. He said, it's amazing. And I'm like, well, Terry, you've got to tell me about this. Because if you've been driving a cab for 30 years and you've seen something you've never seen in 30 years, I got to know this story. So he's sitting in this parking lot off of Warsaw Avenue, just for your information.
Bingo.
Okay.
I know exactly. Okay.
Used to be a KFC. Now it's just a vacant parking lot. Anyway, he's sitting there, and there's another cabbie, and they're side by side bullshitting, sitting in the cars waiting for a call. And he said, some girl, white chick, mid-20s or so, but, meth heads, you can't really, it's hard to tell age with meth heads, rides up on a bike, and she's got a Pitbull on a leash. So this guy pulls up in a car, black dude, gets out, and he's like, she hands him money, he hands her dope, and he's like, he's like, we're like 25 yards away from it, watching this transaction goes down. She looks at the guy, and she's like, look, I want all your money and all your dope, or I'm going to let my dog go on you. And he's just like, bitch, you're crazy, or something along those lines. And he said she reached into her pocket and pulled something out of her pocket and reached down and like put it in front of the dog's nose. And he said this dog went fucking ape shit. He's like pulling on the leash, barking, raising hell. And she's like, I'm going to release this dog if you don't give me your money and your dope. So he reaches into his pocket, pulls out, he said, this big wad of cash and throws it to her. Reaches into his other pocket, pulls out some dope, probably, meth, heroin, whatever, throws it to her. She picks it up off the ground. She's like, I know you got a gun in your pocket. I want your gun or I'm going to release the dog. And he's like, bitch, I'm going to kill you. You are dead. And she said, I'm not even worried about that. Give me your fucking gun. He reached into his back pocket, pulled out a little pocket rocket, threw it to her, on the ground. She picked it up, put it in her pocket. And at that point, she released the fucking dog. And he said, this dog ate this motherfucker up. He's like, at that point, she got on her bike, rode away. He's like, I got on my cell phone and called 911 and said, man, this guy's being eaten up by this pit bull. You need to get someone out here like right now. And he said, it didn't take long because, District 3 is right down the street from this location. Mm-hmm. Anyway, paramedics rolled in, cops rolled in.
Who got there first, paramedics or the cops?
The cops got there first, then the paramedics shortly thereafter. And check this out. He said the paramedic walked up to this dog with a hypodermic, and he said he hit this dog in the hip, like the ass area. And he said the dog went down quick. He's like, I don't know what the hell it was. He said, I've never seen anything like it. It's the craziest damn thing. And he said, but this guy's arm from his shoulder all the way down to the end of his hand was nothing but fucking raw meat. This dog ate his ass up. She rode away. Now, the moral of this story is someone probably, this was like 3 days ago, so someone's probably dead by now. Either the drug dealer, because he can't pay his dope man, because he gave all his dope and money away, or the girl, because this was her dope guy, so they probably know everything about her and where she hangs out.
She lives within 10 blocks max of this incident.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I guarantee you she lives within 4 blocks of where this went down. Look, either she's dead or going to be dead soon, or he's dead. But someone's going to die over this.
Yeah, but you know what? It's like the gun form thing. I have a dog, you have a gun. Who's going to win this fight? Who's going to win this robbery? And it's like the internet would pick wrong.
Well, you see, here's the thing. And I'm going to go with the internet guy, because this is what the internet guy would say. I would say, when she said, give me your money and your dope, I would be like, okay. And instead of reaching for the money and the dope, I would have reached for my gun. I'd have shot the dog, then I'd have shot her. But in reality, he gave her the dope, the money, and the gun, and he got ate up by a fucking pit bull. Mm-hmm. That's reality. That's a true fucking story.
But think about this. Think about this for a minute. Actually, I have some things to add about that street. But so think about the average gun that is recovered on the street. Okay? pocket rocket of some kind. Sometimes you'll see a full-size gun, but a lot of times it'll be a smaller gun. May work, may not work. Typically loaded with ball ammo. If it's not loaded with ball ammo, it may not work. So think about some gun that you haven't shot a whole lot because you really have it for self-protection.
Yep.
With suboptimal ball ammo versus a raging Pitbull 3 feet from you.
Yeah.
If you start shooting, who's going to win that? The Pitbull is going to win that.
Probably the Pitbull, because I'm thinking about my gun, my ammo, what I carry, my skill. But I'm not the 20-year-old gangbanger who actually thinks, what's the Al Pacino movie? I'm not the 20-year-old gangbanger that thinks Scarface is real.
I know.
I mean, but at the end of the day, the guy got his arm chewed up. And as long as his dope guy doesn't kill him over the whole situation, he's probably better off giving her the shit and going on. Because
you're better off, because if you have to shoot this girl and kill her, then you attract so much heat. Basically, we'll settle this later.
Exactly. And if he doesn't end up dying in the situation, she eventually will. If she's not already dead, she will be dead soon. And that may sound callous, but that's street fucking justice. I
wonder where she got the dog from.
Oh, man, everyone in Price Hill has pit bulls.
I know they – well, hey, by the way, remember how you said you weren't going to say the neighborhood? You named the street and the neighborhood, and I am not going to edit that shit out either.
No, hold on a second. I don't really care about naming the street in the neighborhood. I'm just saying that 99.9999% of our listeners won't have any clue what I'm talking about because, they don't know.
Is that White Castle still over there on Warsaw Avenue?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, you take your life into your hands every time you go in there and order a freaking slider.
Oh, that White Castle was a place where I am intimately familiar with stolen guns were sold out of that White Castle parking lot.
Yeah.
And we'll just leave it at that. As a matter of fact, a Glock 10 millimeter Model 20 was sold out of that parking lot. Yeah, so how's that for pocket rocket? So my point is,
okay. Do you remember? Okay, we're talking about you mentioned before that the gun may or may not go off, because they're whatnot, ammo and all that. When we were talking about this, do you remember? And this has probably been 10. God, it's probably been every bit of 10 years ago. No, it's probably more.
Hold on. I just want to warn you. Speak obliquely about things that might blow back on us as what the story about the tell. Okay.
No, this is an interesting story.
Yeah. Keep my editing workload to a minimum just in case.
But if you remember about 10, 12 years ago, we were, and it was in the winter. It was around Christmas time because it was cold as shit. Matter of fact, there was snow on the ground because you were tracking footprints. We were going to go shoot sporting clays down in Kentucky, and we were all ready to go. And at that time, if you kept a firearm in your vehicle in Ohio, it had to be in a locked box. The rules have changed since then. But I had a little Kel-Tec P11 I kept in a lockbox in my truck. Well, the day before, I was out screwing around in the driveway with the truck. The old lady came home. She had groceries. I helped her in. It was late. I forgot to lock my truck up. Well, that night, someone came through, and actually these guys got busted, but they were canvassing neighborhoods, and they were looking for unlocked vehicles for Christmas presents, console change, anything that they could get out of it. Well, if you recall, they stole my lockbox with my gun in it.
Yeah.
So I
remember.
And of course we didn't go shooting sporting clays because I'm getting ready to go shooting sporting clays, and I'm like, where the hell's my car keys? And my car keys are gone because they were in the ignition of the truck. And I got to looking, the glove box was open, the box with my gun was gone. So, I had to file a police report, and all that good.
It was like worst case scenario. You left everything in there because you got distracted and you got hit by accident.
I'm lucky they didn't steal the damn truck or use my front door key that was on my key ring to get. So anyway, once I filed the police report, I immediately went to, we didn't go shoot sporting clays that day. I immediately went to Home Depot and I changed all the locks on my doors because I had one of those goofy keys that fit every fucking lock, So I changed all my locks to different keys. So my front door, my basement, it sucked, but it is what it is. Well, 3 years later, I get a call from CPD. They have my gun. And I'm like, oh, well, that's awesome. So some narcotics officer busted some dope guy downtown and, and he had my gun on him. Well, because my gun's on the hot sheet, because I gave him the serial number, I had everything reported, and it comes up as a stolen firearm, and that's an extra charge on this dude's, thing. Well, it took a year from the time they recovered the gun before I could get it back because, they had to go through the trial and appeals and all this shit. Anyway, the guy goes to prison for a bunch of fucking years, and it comes to the day where I can get my gun back. And I got a letter from the chief of police because you have to have a release letter. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I'm intimately familiar with CPD's property room.
So I go down to the property room on Baldwin, and
that's right. Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah. What is it?
It's in the next to the Batman building.
It's 315 or 515, something like that. Anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm in there. And I'm waiting in line, there's a guy in front of me, getting shit. And there's like 3 cops behind me. And they're getting evidence for court. I know this because I'm bullshitting with the cops while we're waiting in line. So I get my gun back. And he hands me the gun. And it's zip tied. And the slide's like half back. I mean, it's not even locked back. It's like half back. And I pop the zip tie and the gun stays there. So I tapped the slide like 4 or 5 times before it even slid home. And the cop behind me looked at it and said, oh man, that thing is fucked up. I said, yeah, it is. And anyway, the cop that was working the property room hands me this little bitty manila envelope.
Yeah, with the fucking ammo.
And it had the fucking bullets in it. And I poured it out in my hand. And it was literally a montage. There was like 2 hollow points. I mean, it was like 7 rounds of mismatched miscellaneous ammo. I looked at the cop and I said, you know what? I said, none of this is my ammo. I don't even fucking want it. And he's like, well, we can dispose of it. And I'm like, keep the ammo. I don't even fucking want it. So he kept the ammo. I took the gun.
If he had the website, then you would have kept that ammo, so we could have taken a photograph of it and shown everybody what comes off the street. This was pre tactical T-shirts. Was pre-John. I mean, we knew. I mean, we were buds, but we didn't have the business together then. Yeah, this was where we decided to. Well, maybe we can go broke peddling social media. Yeah. But I mean, it's an interesting story because, again, you personally understand what I went through because you've been through it yourself, but it was just like this gun, honestly, it was so screwed up. I actually had a clip draw. Kel-Tec makes a clip draw you can put on your guns. They're the Kel-Tec guns. It's, you get the clip draw, it has different pins you can put in. The clip draw was gone, and where the pins were, it literally had rivets. The rivets
not the rivets you put in a rivet gun, but the rivets that has two ends and it screws together. They had freaking there instead of the pins. This gun was so screwed up. If the dope guy downtown who got busted with it would have tried to fire it, it wouldn't have fired. This gun was
it'd fire once.
Maybe once, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got the gun back, and by the way, I'm going to do a shout out to Kel-Tec. So I call Kel-Tec. I'm trying to rebuild this gun because this gun is a mess. Actually,
because Freeze cannot help himself. He loves to fiddle with shit as opposed to throwing up the white flag and just being like, fuck it.
I do. I will spend 100 hours of my time to fix something.
To fix a Kel-Tec.
When I could just go out and buy one and say, you know what? It's cheaper just to buy one than to invest the time. So anyway, this gun actually was spray painted all black. And actually
somebody worked on this fucking gun. They put rivets in it and spray painted it.
Oh no, yeah. This thing, I mean, it was a piece of shit. And the sights on it, of course, Kel-Tec sights are just plastic sights. It looked like this gun had been thrown across the concrete because the sights were all ground down and fucked up on it. I mean, this gun was a mess. So I call Kel-Tec and I'm talking to the lady at the desk. And I'm trying to explain the situation, and I'm like, look, gun was stolen. It's recovered. It's messed up. I said, I need a front sight. I need a rear sight. I need a total spring and pin rebuild kit. I said, this thing's messed up. And she's not getting what I'm saying because she's just, a phone girl.
They've never had somebody call and asking for a bunch of replacement parts for a Kel-Tec because they're like, well, it's worth more than the gun.
Yeah. So anyway, she's like, you know what? Let me transfer you to this guy, and I don't remember his name. And I'm like, okay. So she puts me on hold, and a few minutes later, this guy picks up, and I'm like, look, I don't know if you can help me. And I explain the whole scenario, and the guy's like, look, he's like, I'm in charge of research and development for Kel-Tec. He's like, I understand exactly what you're saying. He's like, what parts do you need? So I broke it down. I told him exactly what I needed. And he's like, awesome. He's like, let me have your name and address. I gave him my name. I gave him my address. And he's like, I'll have these parts out to you tomorrow in the mail. And I'm like, cool. Do you need my credit card number? He's like, don't fucking worry. Well, he didn't say don't fucking worry. He said, don't worry about it. He said, it's on us. He said, I'll have these parts to you in the mail tomorrow. Within 4 days, I had the freaking parts in the mail free of freaking charge. So you know what? You can shit on Kel-Tec all you want. All I can tell you is their customer service is top freaking notch, and they did me right.
So, as I'm running around here, like H&K, fucking Blazer, and fucking $3,000 1911s, Freeze, his favorite gun companies are Savage, Kel-Tec, Mossberg. Who else do you love?
Hey, you know what? I love
you
Taurus.
Like Taurus. You like Taurus.
And look, and I know there's probably going to be a dozen guys out there listening to this going to be like, oh my God, and they're going to make some kind of fucking alien face. But look.
Freeze the heat. That's true. You do.
I've had nothing but good luck with Taurus. Their customer service is top notch. Their lifetime warranty is a true lifetime warranty, and the lifetime warranty goes with the gun, not the original buyer. Look, I'm telling you. Is a $500 Taurus better than a $3,000 Red Brown? No. But if you can't afford a $3,000 Red Brown, buy the $500 fucking Taurus. It's a good gun.
Hold on here. That gets me talking. Hold on. It gets me thinking. Hold on. Is this it? Doesn't Taurus have a new full-size service pistol out?
Yes, they do.
I see. That's a monster. Hold on, Taurus.
No, I'm ashamed to say I'm not very up on it because I haven't really been following things, you know.
Here's the thing: part of me is just like, maybe we just buy one of these new Taurus pistols and let you shoot it and run it, and then if you have any issues, let you write the articles and make the videos.
Well, hey, look, you know what though? I call balls and strikes. You know, I may be a Taurus fanboy. I don't want to say I'm a Taurus fanboy, like I'm a SIG fanboy. I fully acknowledge the fact that, I'm a SIG fucking fanboy. I get it, be that good, bad, whatever I am. I won't say I'm a Taurus fanboy, but I am a fan of Taurus. But look, I do call balls and strikes. I mean, look, if I have a Taurus in my hands and it's shit, I'll be the first to admit it's crap. Now, if it's a SIG and it's crap, I may try to spin it to the best of my ability to kind of give them the benefit of the doubt. But at the end of the day, if it's garbage, I'm not afraid to call it garbage.
Okay, I found the gun. I don't know if it's available in the U.S. or not. It's called a Taurus TS9. So the transsexual 9.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. You went there.
Hold on. Let me see here. Hold on. Taurus TS. Let me see if I can find one for sale. Because apparently I can't spell Taurus. TS.
Taurus, by the way. It's the TS9 is a striker fired gun.
It looks like one of the. It reminds me of the.
Actually, it looks a lot. It looks like a lot of the Canic.
Yeah, but it looks almost more like to me, it looks like a cross between a Caracal and the. Oh man, who's the Steyr? What's that Steyr gun they make? That looks like kind of crazy looking. Like it's real. It's not crazy looking, but what's it called? The Steyr.
I don't know.
They've been out for years.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm telling you what. If you compare the TS9 to the Canic, they're
all copying the same. Yeah, I mean, they're all copying the same.
Look, the HK-VP9, the Canic, the Beretta. I mean, they're all kind of more or less the same freaking gun. I mean,
they're very similar. I don't know about internally, but
maybe not. What's that Beretta we have in the armory?
Fuck, which one? What color is it?
It's black.
The one that looks like what?
It looks like the VP9. It's the
Beretta. It looks like a VP9.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Are you talking about the Egyptian copy of the Beretta?
No.
You're talking about the Walther. Is it the
Walther?
Oh yeah.
Okay, you're right. Jesus Christ, I'm having like major brain farts today. Yeah, the Walther, not the Beretta, but the Walther. What the hell is that? What's the model number?
PPQ.
Yeah. PPQ and the H&K VP9 are basically in the Canic. When you start putting them all together, they're all pretty much the same gun.
Oh, dude, check this out. I'm on Bud's Gun Shop because I never look at Taurus. The 9mm Taurus that I'm looking for, it doesn't look like it's in the U.S. It might be, but there's the 22 rimfire version is. But it just so happens, you know the Beretta, like the little Beretta 22, 25 caliber, I think they call them the Tomcat. You know those little like Tomcat guns with like the tip-up barrels?
With the flip-up barrels, yeah.
I don't know if this barrel flips up, but Taurus makes a gun that looks like that's a straight-up copy of that gun.
Well, look, here's the look. Okay, so here's the thing with Taurus. And Taurus has a long history of yeah. I mean, everyone shits on Taurus because of the old Saturday Night Special. Taurus.
No, Taurus. Now hold on. Now Taurus had a gun. Taurus had a gun not 2 years ago that they were. It was what the hell was it? It was cops in Brazil. I don't know if they were dropping the slide and it was firing, or it was doing something crazy.
No, look, I'm not talking about 2 years ago. I'm talking about in like the 60s and the 70s. Taurus was basically your quintessential Saturday Night Special. What they did is they copied every freaking gun on the market, and they were cheap and they were garbage. Okay, now Taurus has come a long way, but Taurus has a history of copying guns. And the fact that Taurus copied a Bearcat does not even surprise me in the least bit.
Yeah, I mean, well, look, I mean, like the Turks copy every gun too, but their guns tend to be better made.
But the truth is, the Turk guns are better made than the Taurus guns. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, but look, I mean,
look, I'm not going to spend a half hour talking about Taurus. We got to get off this. You like Taurus. We all know you like Taurus, and we will find you a Taurus gun so you can do videos on it. And then if it blows up in your hands, you could do the I'm sorry video.
You know what? I will do the I'm sorry video if the fuck. Actually, if it blows up in my hand, I might not do an I'm sorry video. I might do a fuck you video.
Might do a Tex Grubner. I just shot myself.
Oh my God! Wow, you really had to bring up that video, didn't you?
Oh God!
Better than that guy. And most people listening to this will know that video.
Will they? I don't even know if they do or not.
Myself.
Hey, speaking of people that know how to make money in guns and doing the same thing over and over again, Thunder Ranch is at it again. Clint Smith.
Okay, so what's Clint doing these days?
So like I don't know if you know every Thunder Ranch gun he's ever come out with, but
probably not.
I mean, but like I'll give the highlights. So years ago,
he's a Marky.
He's good though, but So first of all,
I've never heard of a bad Thunder Ranch gun, with the exception of the Thunder Ranch 1911s, which are so fucking tight you can't freaking run them.
I don't think are the Thunder. Well, hold on. Let me start. So he had hooked up years ago with Les Bear and done a Thunder Ranch TRS Thunder Ranch Special 1911, and it was a 5-inch gun. Yeah, I remember it had thin grips on it. It was a base gun. They were probably pretty tight, at least the early ones, but Les Bear got away from that.
Well, but in the early days, the guns were so freaking tight, they were ridiculous.
Yeah, Les Bear's guns were too tight, and he even admitted that to me. He admitted that to my face. He was like, because again, Les Bear's not even making these guns. He's like, I told my guys they got to back off of that, because the internet forum guys thought that tighter meant better, and so they just like, we'll make them tighter. So, they
to their credit, they did a great job.
Yeah, well, they did. So, all right, so let me go through the list. Thunder Ranch guns. Now, I don't know how many years ago they came out with that, but dude, those guns it was a lot of gun for the money. Like for like an average Les Bear was at, these were like, I don't know if I remember 1,500, but like if you look at like the market now and what an average high-end 1911 costs, I mean, they did real well. So he's done that gun. He did some revolvers with Smith & Wesson. He did, we have one. We have a 325, which is a lightweight, it's a lightweight 45 ACP full moon clip revolver with pick rails on it. That's a Thunder Ranch gun. And he also he did one in 44, I think maybe 44. Like he did a couple of like repops of the older Smith guns with the trench rear sight, and he did maybe even like an 8-shot 357. I'm not. I could be wrong on that. And then he's done a few ARs. He finally did some ARs. He actually did a Mossberg shotgun, which I thought you would like. You would appreciate that.
I wasn't aware of that, but I'd be interested in seeing a Thunder Ranch Mossberg 500. Oh, fuck yeah, I would.
Yeah, they're out there. Probably not even that expensive. But and that. So anyway, they have now. It's been long enough. They have now come out with a new Thunder Ranch pistol, and it's made by Nighthawk. Let me.
Oh Jesus! Really?
Well,
first off, I'm not even really impressed with that. Just as soon as you said it was made by Nighthawk, it's like whatever. I don't even care.
Let's see here. It looks like it has a distressed finish on it. It's got like a pseudo GI style thumb safety, like original GI style, dick cocking sights, as you would call it. What's the price on this? It's a good looking gun because what's their MSRP? Tiny Ledge. They're not even giving the MSRP. Its gun's going to be expensive.
Yeah, whatever. I am not. First off, any gun made by Nighthawk, I am not even remotely interested in. Screw that.
We don't. You have no reason to hate Nighthawk. The only thing, because people hear you say that and they don't know what you're saying. What you're saying is you're saying screw Nighthawk the same way you say screw Ferrari. You're not paying that kind of money for anything. You're just not.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I just want people to understand. You don't.
No, I'm not saying. Yeah. Okay, you're correct. You're correct to correct me. Yes, I'm not saying Nighthawk puts out. I'm not saying Nighthawk puts out total shit and garbage. I'm just saying that for the price they charge for their guns, and if you tack on a Thunder Ranch name, you're just jacking the price an extra grand. That it's not worth it. Their guns aren't that fucking good. They're not bad, but they're not. When you factor MSRP to performance, screw them.
I got the price.
Yeah, okay. Throw the price at me.
Starting $33.99, $3,400. Yeah.
Bullshit. That is total fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, but okay, and the reason it's that much is because one, it's Nighthawk, and two, it's Thunder Ranch. So you know what? If you have more money than sense, and you're a kind of guy that you think you have a big dick because you drive a fucking Porsche, then go ahead and buy the Thunder Ranch Nighthawk gun, because that is your gun, because that fits your fucking lame ass profile.
I'll tell you what, sometimes talking to you on a podcast is like working in AOC's like communications office. It's like, hold on, let me clarify this bitch. So
I don't have to worry about being fucking reelected in 2 years. So I can say whatever the hell I want.
Someday I'm going to run for president, and my campaign's going to be, I'm unelectable.
I'm unelectable. Elect me, please. Yeah. No,
that way when you lose, you can say, see, I was right.
Okay, so do you want me to sit there and jack off Nighthawk and jack off? I want me to be honest.
I've talked to Nighthawk about a project some years ago for a military group, and they were super, super, super sweethearts to deal with. And look, they're fine.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying Nighthawk puts out crap. I'm not saying Nighthawk is not a good. And by the way, I know what you're talking about on this.
We're not going to talk about it though.
But I'm familiar with what you were talking about. And look, I'm not saying any of that, and I'm not shitting on Nighthawk because Nighthawk is a bad company to deal with. And I'm not saying that if you have a Nighthawk 1911, it's a bad gun. It's not a bad gun. I'm just saying you got a good gun, but you overpaid for it. And that's my opinion. And look, if you have a Nighthawk and you're upset by that comment, don't take it personally. really don't take it personally, because if you have a Nighthawk and you're happy with it and it runs like a son of a bitch and it does the job for you, then it was worth every goddamn penny you spent.
I know, but I don't want to spend 5 minutes. I don't want to spend any more time talking. I just was like, I thought it was interesting.
I just want to clarify my standards, because
you just don't like the price.
I don't like paying for names.
Yeah, this gun's $3,400, and this gun's $3,400, and I just did a quick rundown on, like, because there's all kinds of options. Yeah, most people are going to probably they're going to get close to 4 on this, and it's
with their MSRP on their options, that's probably correct.
Yeah, so
I mean, you know, because 1911 guys like certain things, and options cost money. I get that. You know.
Okay. We got to get off. We got to get off this, because you just start. I mean, I understand. Everyone knows how you feel. There's not a whole lot to talk about. We're not going to buy one. We don't really have an opinion like, hey, this is what's going on with this gun. It's like, it's interesting, but I don't want to get you too stirred up here. It's like, you know, it was just a blurb. It's like, let's move on. I was going to talk about, because we were talking about the lifestyle and, like, the, you know, the kids getting shot, and hey, you should think about maybe changing your ways. And that had reminded me, but I didn't get a chance to say this. Do you know David Hogg? You remember your friend and mine, David Hogg? He is
the guy who had 7 death threats against him, which is, that's a fucking guy.
He says he survived 7. He somehow, like, survived 7 assassination attempts or something.
He is so full of fucking shit. It's amazing.
It's so desperate to get back in the news, but you know what?
Because he's past business. No one. Look, we talked about David Hogg in many podcasts ago, and it's like, as soon as the media is done using him up, he's old news, and he is old news. So he has to try to, like, make himself more relevant by saying he survived 7 assassination attempts, which everyone fucking knows is bullshit. You know how many assassination attempts he's had? 0. I mean, you know, the guy's full of shit. He's a child. He's a child.
Well, you know what that story reminded me of? And, like, children do this. And I'm not going to say children, but, like, you know, young people don't realize a lot of times how they talk. And, like, I think sometimes, like, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez suffers from this. She should be getting to the age where she should know better. But, you know, sometimes they don't realize. She's stupid. But like, so, like, sometimes if you're a young person, you may not remember this, Freeze, but if young people, like, if you're a guy and you talking to a girl, and sometimes this will even be, like, for pretty girls, especially, at some point in a conversation or communicating with them, they may utter something along the lines of, like, I've had 7 men ask me to marry them. And it's like, all right, what, you know, and they think that that turns into, they've been proposed to 7 times. And then it turns into a guy on his knee with a ring. And, you know, as opposed to, you know, some guy who was with this girl and said something like, I should marry you. You know what I mean? Like, they take little things and they turn them into these big things that don't make any sense. And as you get older and you have more experience and you start to recognize phases of people's lives, you'll recognize these patterns even within certain demographics or like certain age groups. And, like, David Hogg talking about 7 assassination attempts reminded me of the high school cheerleader who's now, like, 22 or 25. And she's claiming that she's been proposed to 7 times. And it's like, no, you haven't. No, you haven't. The dude went out and bought a ring and stood there with a ring. The dude didn't buy a goddamn ring. He wasn't asking you to marry him. You know, if like if the Secret Service didn't jump in front of you, David Hogg, and pull you off the dais as they're like, shooter, shooter. I mean, no, David, you haven't survived 7 assassination attempts. You know, somebody on Twitter trolling you is not an assassin. It may be bad, it may be nasty, but it's not like General Alexander Haig getting his car blown up in an assassination attempt. It's like not the same.
Now now in all fairness, I will say David Hogg has probably had 7 or more Twitter people threaten to assassinate him.
God, dude.
But that's
how many fucking people have gotten on social media with us, you know, going back to the tactical issue and threaten to kill us? Like when they get super pissed off.
I don't know. I mean, Jesus. How many people have threatened to kill us? I can't even count. I mean, going back to the Chris Kyle days, we had death threats.
Fuck, dude.
And we were just
that's the unknown story of some of the bullshit we put up with during the Chris Kyle T-shirt days.
Honestly, if we sat down and did a 3-hour podcast of the bullshit we went through with the whole Chris Kyle thing, people would be freaking amazed. But I'm not going to talk about the negative of that because the truth is the positives that we put into it far negate the negatives that we personally went through. Because
good for you, Freeze.
I like to think, even though the negative bullshit we went through, and people would be amazed at the negative bullshit we went through, I like to think
national scandal.
Look, oh yeah, no shit. But look, the thing is, we did something positive. We were there to help out a fucking family of a goddamn fucking hero. And did we deserve what we got? No, but you know what? I'm man enough to suck it up. I can sack it up and deal with it. We did. But the truth is, if we sat down and did a 3-hour podcast of all the negativity that we received, people would be amazed and shocked.
From surprising corners as well.
Oh, yeah, no. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's not like
Al-Qaeda.
Yeah.
No, we're not talking about he's just a spammer. He's just a guy who trolls. These aren't trolls. These are major fucking players. And I'm not going to get into any details because we don't wash our dirty laundry like that. But still, I mean, look, we did something good in our hearts.
All right. We did.
And we did. And it was amazing.
But it was just to prove a point, David Hogg and like the whole living a lifestyle and people just exaggerating bullshit and all that kind of stuff. Hey, have you followed any of the stuff with the NRA? I know you've been busy.
Oh my God. I mean,
what do you know? Establish that so we can make sure that we're equal, like we both are on the same page here. What have you heard?
The NRA's in some serious fucking trouble.
Yes.
And I've been busy the past couple of weeks, so I have not really been following, all the ins and outs. But it's like, seriously.
We talked about Wayne LaPierre's theoretical girlfriend.
Sure, yeah, we have. But I'll be honest with you, and I'm saying this publicly, but as a lifetime NRA member, I'm embarrassed to be an NRA member right now.
Yeah, I'm sympathetic to that feeling. So did you hear that NRA TV got shut down?
Yes, I did hear NRA TV got shut down.
So my favorite librarian has lost her main source of income, which makes me a little sad.
Which one's that?
Dana Loesch. She's like, she's my favorite. She's my favorite sexy librarian look.
Hey, look, you know what though? I like Dana Loesch. I do.
I do.
I like her. She's very smart. She's very intelligent, and we pretty much. We hold the same.
She's very attractive.
Oh yeah. I'd say she's hot.
But you know what I like about her is I like the fact that a lot of times you'll see some of these. I'm just being honest. Some of these people, women in particular, sometimes men, they're really in media because they're attractive, not really because they're like really like quick on their feet to talk. Like they're not. Yeah.
There's a lot of
their looks are a 10, but their mind is maybe a 4. And there's one or two that I maybe could say I won't because it would cause trouble. But she's not one of those. What I like about her is she's whether people agree or disagree with her, she's sharp.
See, here's the thing. Dana Loesch is probably realistically an 8, but to me, she's a 12 because she's so fucking smart and we agree on a lot of things. That makes her even more fucking attractive to me.
It does, doesn't it? It does.
I mean, seriously. Because is she a 10? No, she's not a 10. She's probably an 8, but to me, she's a fucking 12 because we agree politically. She's super freaking smart. And she's not she's not an eyesore at all. So
okay, I just want to go on public record here and stake out my position that Dana Loesch, and I mean this respectfully to Mr. Loesch or Loesch or whatever, is it Loesch? Her husband as well. So I mean this with utmost respect. She's a 10. She's a 10. She rolls out of bed. She's a 10.
I've already called her a 12. So screw you, buddy.
Yeah, well, no. You were a qualified 12.
Well, you know what? A qualified 12 is still a 12.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Look, at the end of the day, I like Dana Loesch. I'm sorry that NRATV is gone, but you know what? She'll land on her feet. She's smart.
But to go on from that, it's like, well, the numbers you're hearing about NRATV and the NRA and I can't remember the name of the group that was running NRATV, which is why it got shut down. But it's like it cost how much? It's like, well, this wasn't.
It was. Yeah,
it wasn't a good spend. Well, but here's the thing. Hold on. Let me tell you what the first. Like I've been hearing, like just like you, we've all been hearing information and hearing stories about the NRA, and then there's Chris Cox and the Suits and the Oliver North and the show. And I had talked to Scott Mayer at NRA about it, and he was like, because he used to work for the NRA, and he was like, I don't know anything more than you do, and all this. So it was a few weeks ago, and I saw maybe 10 days ago, and this was before NRATV shut down. But I knew this was going to be a big, big drama when Hickok 45 and his son did a video saying they were no longer going to work with the NRA until they could figure out what was going on.
Really?
And
see, I had not seen that.
Mm-hmm. I was like, holy shit balls.
Okay, well, that's actually pretty, yeah.
Now I was like, this is getting traction somewhere.
I had on Hickok 45, but at the end of the day, look, this guy's out there producing content. He's working with different people. And when he sits there and has to say, hey, you know what, things are so crazy, I can't deal with them until they get their shit together. I totally respect that.
Well, what was I don't. The thing is, here's what we don't know. We don't know if Hickok 45, if they were sitting around going, I don't feel good about this until I know what's going on, or it could go either way. Because they do all this stuff where they raise money, join the NRA, link, click, follow, subscribe, whatever whatever their relationship is. I'm not privy to, but what happens is they have this stuff embedded in all their content. And I'm sure at some point, the amount of horseshit communications, comments, emails, phone calls, and other smoke signals from people complaining about the NRA got to a point that it stunk up their fucking proper social media property. And they had to do something about it.
I'm sure, because you and myself both know how that goes. And I mean, maybe the average guy listening to this podcast doesn't, but trust me, we seriously know how.
Yeah. If they have to go into comments or private messages or however all the stuff they do, and all the, they're trying to talk about hey, it's chapter 2 of this cool gun, but all they want to talk about, fuck you NRA shill, or fuck you traitor, or whatever. I don't even know what's, you paying for Wayne LaPierre's suits, whatever the drama is, it basically suffocates their business.
Yes, absolutely.
And they're just like, we're out. And I saw that because, again, I like a lot of these other social media channels, I wouldn't be privy to them because I don't consume them. But I was like, what the hell's going on that it's getting to their front door?
Yeah.
They could be in significant trouble.
Could be
questioning the NRA's. I'm questioning the NRA's future. Like, I think they could get shut down. I think there could be enough going on there that they may end up being. It could be not good.
I honestly, I do not disagree with you on that.
And people are worried,
I know most gun guys are going to sit there and say, "Oh, there's no way," but you know what? Yeah.
And hold on, I got to do a segue here. And people are worried. And you know what else they're worried about? They're worried about Jeffrey Epstein. Have you heard about this?
Oh my God! Oh fuck yeah, I have. And okay. Look, I have multiple feelings on the whole Epstein issue. I really do. I mean, look, this guy obviously is a first-class piece of shit scumbag. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm.
However,
oh God,
what I'm surprised.
My asshole's puckering like, oh God, what the fuck is he going to say?
Okay, right now you're hearing a lot of shit about Bill Clinton and Epstein being buddies, having dinner together and whatever. Well, you know what? Billionaires and millionaires hang with billionaires and millionaires. I mean, it is what it is. But what I'm waiting for is as soon as the hoopla of Bill Clinton being Epstein's buddy dies down, because people are saying, oh, okay, Bill Clinton, and Epstein were friends and they used to hang out together, have dinner together, whatever. But, that doesn't really shock me. Doesn't mean Bill Clinton knew that Epstein was a dirtbag. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't, because Bill Clinton's pretty much of a fucking dirtbag himself. Yeah. Okay? But at the end of the day, what's going to eventually evolve is once the Bill Clinton shit dies down, it's like, well, Donald Trump and Bill Epstein were buddies, so now Donald Trump's a piece of shit and a child molester because Bill Epstein, traffic, was, how politics is.
It's interesting. So everybody's like Jeffrey Epstein is such a liberal fixture in Democratic New York, Palm Beach, donor circles that, this has been floating around since, this was floating around. I was hearing rumors about this during the Obama administration. And it was definitely floating around big time in 2013, 2014, and 2015 when they were like, Hillary's definitely running. And what about Jeffrey?
And everyone was like keeping it hush hush because they didn't.
Yeah, the media, it wasn't they were doing stories on it, but even we were hearing all the rumors. Well, here's the thing: It's been Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Epstein. Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Epstein. Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Epstein. Monday, this dude gets arrested. All of a sudden now there's some quote with Donald Trump saying something nice about Jeffrey Epstein at some point between now and the time Jesus Christ was born. And it's like the mainstream media and on Twitter, these liberals have been trying to hang Jeffrey Epstein around Donald Trump's neck. And it's like, this is so bizarre to me. It's like, really? This is what we're doing here? Did you hear the story about Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein in Mar-a-Lago?
No, I haven't. I mean, I've been hearing about the whole Epstein story, but I've like I said, I've been working, so I did not hear about the Mar-a-Lago thing. So what's up with that?
So apparently, it's not a surprise. You know, Epstein has a house in Palm Beach, and you know, there's a New York. Yeah, surprise. Sure,
no surprise there. Yeah.
So they've all met, and Mar-a-Lago is a big fancy country club in Palm Beach. So
yeah,
and so apparently in I don't know when it was, but apparently Donald Trump banned Jeffrey Epstein from Mar-a-Lago.
Really?
Yes, and it
shit.
The White House has released it quietly. They're like, yeah, with that. You know what? I'm about to lose my headphones, so we'll keep going, wrap it up. So, but Donald Trump, apparently there was a report that Epstein abused or did something to underage or minor girls at Mar-a-Lago.
No shit.
And apparently a manager that worked at the spa or something complained about it, like he was acting inappropriately. And again, it was relative to like billionaires, you know, this person has no power. This is one of Trump's employees. And she says, we having a problem here. Trump goes, really? Ban his fucking ass. Fucking they got no big fight. Fucking they frog marched his ass out and he's gone. He's been gone for years because he got a report from his employees and he was like, nope, motherfucker is gone.
Yeah, but here's the thing: will the liberal media report it that way? Trump used to have lunch with him at Mar-a-Lago all the time.
No, apparently no. There was so apparently I didn't know this. So Nancy Pelosi's daughter, like Sarah Pelosi, I remember what her last name is Pelosi. She works in some kind of political. She works in some kind of political fundraising. She released a statement this week, and she said, we better be prepared, talk to the Democrats, for the fact that there's going to be a lot to come out of this Epstein story, and a lot of our heroes are going to get caught up in it. Basically, she was preparing people. I mean, this is not a secret. The Epstein thing, look, I mean, this is no, I'm not trying to like downplay, but look, you know, we live in the Midwest. You know, we're not in like billionaire Palm Beach butt buddy circles. You know, we've heard this years ago. There's shit to this story, and this story is going to be
and here's the thing: because we don't live in West Palm Beach and we don't roll in those circles, there's all kinds of freaking shit out there that people know that we don't even fucking know. Because, you know, I mean, when you're a billionaire and you hang with billionaires, you know, it's just like, oh, well, you know, you're going to have a party for whatever reason. It's like, yeah, don't invite that person because he's kind of a fucking, a sexual predator, or whatever.
Every group, whether it's at the NRA or at Mar-a-Lago, has an in crowd and out crowd, a dirty crowd and a clean crowd, and that apparently exists. So, but I got to warn you, I can't go too much longer because we're about to drop this connection. So, give me your final thoughts, and then we'll wrap it up.
So, bottom line is, when we're at the NRA show, we are not going to ever interview a guy that wears a watch on each wrist.
And that wraps up episode 138 of the John1911 Podcast. If you want to hear any see any links or stories or references to things we talk about, please go to our website, John1911.com. And remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. Everybody, have a good day.
See you later.
Jesus Christ, the 2-watch dude. Fuck.
I couldn't resist.